welcome back. I'm Levi. Today we're going to be going over the 5 steps to making 100k. Okay, so we're going to start off how to make 100k a year, and this is going to be the 5-step blueprint to do that. So most people overcomplicate making 100k. You don't need a degree, you don't need luck, and you definitely don't need 10 years. It's just the right strategy and the right boat to get there. I made over 100k through developing one of the core money making skills, and that particular skill was sales. So that's what I'll be teaching you today, and I'm going to be giving you the exact 5-step process that I would use if I had to start again and build up from the bottom. So why 100k matters today? So 100k a year is around about 8,333 a month. It's 2,083 a week, and it's $297 a day, which when you break it down really doesn't sound like much and sounds like it should be pretty easy to get there. $297 a day doesn't sound too hard. Now what this does is it gives you the freedom, it gives you the security, and it gives you leverage to build more. So one of the key things about this is just the lifestyle that you can develop. You know, you're not going to be held down by living paycheck to paycheck, because that's something that everyone seems to struggle with and it's really hard to get out of. But if you can develop some of these skills and build out of that, then your sky's the limit. You're not tied down to just this one thing. So by no means is it going to be you're going to be rich. This isn't a rich number. You're not going to be balling out and buying Lamborghinis and doing all of those types of things. But it is going to give you a lot more financial freedom to decide what you want to do with your money and also build into a future. So the other thing as well, once you hit this, once you get to 100k, it's going to open so many more doors for you. The lifestyle, the opportunities, and the compounding growth. And what compounding growth is it's growth upon growth upon growth. And it just keeps building and building and building. It is so much more easy to obtain once you get to this 100k number and you have that freedom to be able to do that. This is the lifestyle I've got 100k has given me. The lifestyle that 100k has given me looks a little bit like this. I get to go to Puerto Rico, I get to go to all sorts of different places around the world, and I can sell from my laptop. I get to visit all these places, stay in nice hotels, drive fun, fast cars, and I get to enjoy my life. I'm not just stuck in a 9 to 5 in the same place every day, hitting the clock in, hitting the clock out. I get to travel first class. I got to travel first class on my trip from Australia over to Los Angeles. Which is another cool thing that I've been able to do with sales, is I've been able to move countries. I started in a small little town in a place called New Zealand. I started off in a little town there. I managed to make my way to Australia, and then not that long ago I was able to move from Australia to the US. So it's really helped me develop that. There's just a picture of me working here in my new life in California, loving life, just doing deals on the phone, getting stuff sorted. You know, that's one thing that this lifestyle's really given me, and the one thing that I think is really important for most people is having that ability to get out there, change their life, do things, go to the places that they've always wanted to go. But the key is the window is closing. The landscape is changing very fast. The best time to act was yesterday, and the second best is today. So let's get into this. We'll figure out some ways that you can get around it. AI, automation, competition, these are things that are really starting to drill down on people. This is starting to take jobs away. People are looking for new avenues. People are becoming more and more aware of these key skills that are going to help you develop and build into 100k. So the easy money windows are certainly shrinking. High income skills are being flooded. But the early movers like yourself, if you're wanting to get going now, we can lock in that leverage and we can continue to build and build and build while everyone else struggles for the scraps at the end. So look, in 2 to 3 years, it's going to be a lot harder. These opportunities aren't going to be around near as much as what they are now. So now is really kind of that time that we're wanting to move and actually be able to get to that 100k number. It's very important that we start to do something pretty soon. But look, the good news is now that you're watching this, you're going to have some insight, we're going to be able to make some decisions, and we'll be able to move you forward and get you to that 100k mark before everyone else gets there in the next 2 to 3 years. So let's not sleep on it. This is the moment. Let's go. Let's jump into it. Step 1, pick a high income skill. Now, what is a high income skill? It's a skill where you're not going to be trading your time for your money. If you're trading your time for your money, that's not going to be well. It's not a high income skill, because if you have to work 8 hours to earn that much money, then that's limited. You can't compound that. You can't add more hours. There's no more hours in the day to be able to do that. You can't get there because you can't work 24 hours in one day. That's crazy. No one can do that. No one can do that endlessly. And that's not going to increase your income. You're going to be at that same rate on that same number for that same amount of time. But if you can get a skill that can put more money on top of that, so you work 1 hour and maybe one day it's 50, the next day it's 100, the next day it's 400, that's what we're going to be calling a skill that is going to be worth your while. So some examples of some high income skills: sales. This is the one for me. It's the fastest ramp up, and there's no ceiling. There's so many jobs out there that have no cap. So you can earn commissions. And when you say no cap, what that means is the company will continue to pay you commissions on any sale you make. There are some sales jobs out there which they're capped, meaning once you get to a certain number, they won't pay you anymore. But those aren't the jobs we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at jobs that are going to have no cap on them. Copywriting, media buying, video editing, all very in-demand skills in this digital world today. They do have a skill curve. They are something that's going to take quite a while to learn. You can learn them pretty quick in some cases, but this isn't exactly probably the easiest way to go about it, but nonetheless it is. High ticket closing and appointment setting. Now that's very similar to sales, but it is slightly different. Now, so high ticket closing is closing deals on the spot. You already have a lead already ready to go. All you need to do is close it and you get paid a commission. Appointment setting, similar kind of process. What happens is you get a bunch of leads that may be cold or warm. You call them and then you set up the appointment so that way the high ticket closer can come in and close them. So it's kind of a two-parter, and generally you'll start off as an appointment setter before you become a closer, so that way you understand the process. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick one skill. You're going to need to commit 12 to 18 months to master this, because these skills don't just come to you in a month or two. It does take some time. It takes some time to learn them. Once you've got the skills to be able to do it, once you've been taught these skills, you can refine them and change them and develop them. So that is kind of the key that you need to learn here. It is going to be not just a simple, straightforward process. You are going to need some time to do it. But in that 12 to 18 months, by the time you're there, everybody else is already just starting. And if they're not starting, they're even further behind. So you're going to be well ahead of the game. So you don't want to be bouncing around chasing shiny objects. You don't want to be going, oh, well, if I move into this one, that looks like it's doing really well at the moment. Don't go chasing the shiny things. What we're doing here is we're building a skill that's going to be an everlasting skill that's going to stand the test of time, and we're going to be able to develop 100K out of you real easy. We don't want to be bouncing back and starting this all over again. Okay, so step 2, choose the right vehicle. A skill without a vehicle equals a stuck ceiling. It means you're not going to be moving anywhere. You're going to be stuck. It's similar to how we were talking before when you're in a capped commission role. It's not going to get you too far. So what we're going to need to set up a business model or a job structure that rewards performance. So if you're going to be developing a new skill in sales, how this kind of looks is you're going to be starting off in a job where they have uncapped commissions, so that way you can build into it, because that's going to reward your performance. And rewarding performance means that you get so much better out of it, because you're not just trading your time for money. You're now getting told, well, you've done a good job, so you get paid for it. So that's how commissions are. Commissions are rewards for doing something good. So if you sell a customer on a product, you get paid a commission because you did a good job in selling that customer that product, which benefits the business, which benefits you. So some examples: good vehicles, like we just talked about, commission-based sales, remote service agencies, performance-based roles, scalable business services. So these are all things that are going to be really good to be able to help you develop and build out, so that way you get rewarded for performance and not just get stuck on that time scale. Bad vehicles, like we're saying, hourly jobs with capped pay. If you're in a capped job, there's no growth. You're stuck. You hit that ceiling, goodbye, you're finished. Freelancing random gigs with no growth plan. So freelancing is not necessarily a bad idea, but it does have its limitations in certain areas. So if you don't have a plan to grow, you're not going to go anywhere. Something that my father used to tell me, and it's something that I absolutely love to live by, is Failing to plan is a plan to fail. And it's so true. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have any direction, you are going to fail. It is quite simple and broad, just like that. You're going to fail if you don't plan it out. Now, my example, I chose sales because my income is directly tied to performance. That's plain and simple. Like I was just saying, if I do a good job, I get paid well. The better I do, the better I get paid. So what we need to figure out is some of your skills, and maybe you don't have some of these skills yet, but these are skills that we can develop, and there's training out there that we can give you, so that way we can actually develop your skill set. And especially in sales, that's where I come in with my expertise, is I can really help develop skills and build that out, so that way you have a job that can get up to 100k. But we can talk about that a little bit later. Let's move into step 3. Lock in your routine. Consistency beats talent. Daily habits create 6 figures. Going about this and going about that doesn't work. I've tried it. I've been in that place before where I go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to make a couple of calls here, going to make a couple of calls here, and then, it'll be fine because I know that I can close, 40% of my deals, so, I'll be fine. That doesn't work. You need to lock in. You need to really dedicate time to this. And every day is different. You really need to figure out what you're going to do and what those key things are that are going to move the needle in the right direction. High performers treat their skill like athletes. They treat training like it is their game day. And it's so important, because when you go through training sessions, when you're going through coaching sessions, if you're getting, taught how to do things, if you treat them like you're going to treat a real call, like let's talk about sales, if someone's giving you training on how to do it, and then you go put it into practice and you in your trainings, if you're going to take that away and do that in real life, you want to make sure they line up. So practice the way you play. That was something that got taught to me when I used to play professional soccer, was if you're not training like you're going to play on the weekend, you're going to play poorly. So remember, you're going to play like you train, so you better train how you want to play. Building a daily structure around learning. So you want, especially when you're fresh, you really want to be spending a minimum of 2 hours a day on this skill, learning new things, doing different things, just reading about it, whether that's reading, whether that's doing a course, whether that's doing some workbooks, whatever that may be. There needs to be some kind of training. You can't just rock out there, start going, go, oh, well, it's not working, and then give up. You need to be dedicating time to this. Execution. You need some actual work and some actual output. You need to actually put a plan together and go, all right, what are my actionable things that I can do? And then at the end of the day, you need to see what you've been able to execute. So you need an execution plan, so that way you can see what you're actually putting out there. You can see what your output is. You can track your numbers. You need to know, okay, I've made 100 phone calls today and I made 10 sales. You know that that's a 10% close rate. Okay, so you need to know your numbers, so that way you can see where you need to improve. And then as part of that learning part, we come into review. So what reviewing is going back over that stuff. So let's take away those 10 calls that you did sell on. You need to review them. What did you do well? What did you say? Did you listen better? Did you tailor the offer a lot better? What was it that you did on those calls that got the sale? And then go back to the other ones and read them and listen to them and go, okay, well, what didn't I do well on the ones that I didn't close? Is there something that I'm doing the same? Is it my process? Is it my language? Is it my tonality? What is it? You need to go back, you need to review these things and figure out what that is that's causing that issue, where that friction is. And the next thing you want to do is eliminate distractions. Stop expecting fast results. You can't do that. You can't expect fast results. You're not going to get on the phones tomorrow and call up a few prospects and start closing like the Wolf of Wall Street. It just ain't that easy. You're not going to get up and go, yeah, mate, done, closed deal. Not going to happen. You may get one or two ones straight off the bat, and you're going to think you're hot stuff, but you're going to get kicked back when you get those few no's. So don't expect fast results. You're going to need to build this. Remember that it's going to take time, and every day is going to be different. And if you eliminate those distractions, if you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb, you can just block things out, you're going to be able to be better focused, you're going to be able to get into it more, and you're really going to start to see where that success happens. Examples of some good habits: creating a morning routine. If you keep your morning routine the same every day and keep it very structured, then you don't ever have to worry about it. You're not using up that thinking power on what you're going to do in the morning. You're not going to be thinking about, what am I going to wear today? Or what am I going to eat for breakfast today? Or what supplements am I really feeling like that I actually want to take today? Or, I need to make sure I have enough hydration. No, if you have a structure and you have it laid out the night beforehand, it's even better. So if you can do that the night before, you can lay out what you're going to wear the next day. Put your supplements on the table. Get all of the stuff ready so that way when you start your morning, you're on autopilot. Because let's be honest, most of us, when we are going to bed at night, we're all like, yes, I'm inspired, I'm ready to wake up in the morning, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Come morning, jeez, I want to wake up today. Supplements, I can't be bothered with that. I'm just going to chill out here in bed for another half an hour and just look at my phone or do things like that. Don't let that be you. You don't get paid like the top 1% by working like the average. You're not going to be 1% if you're going to be the average. So act like you're in the 1%. Do things like you're in the 1%. That's what's going to set you apart. If you really start driving, doing hard things. If you do hard things, you're going to make it. It's as simple as that. So build your structure, build in a routine, and figure it out. That's how you're going to get there. Step 4, get known. Content and network. Okay, so once you've got your skill and your routine, we really want to push that out. We really want to start going, okay, how do we make this better, and how do we make this structured? Okay, so once it's structured, you've got it all lined up, ready to go, right? So now, content equals your digital leverage. You want to post your wins, what you're doing well, things that are going well, the insights. You're going to put up some numbers saying, like, I was on the phone, I did 300 calls and I closed 75 of them, and this is a close rate that I got. You want to be looking at all those things. Where you can take in mind, you don't want to be putting out company information, so make sure that your business name isn't on it or whatnot, unless it's your own business. If it's your own business, you can do that. But if you're working for someone else, you don't want to be sharing any proprietary information. You definitely don't want to be sharing the exact numbers with all of the part numbers, things, whatever it is that you're selling. Don't do that. But definitely put up things that are going to be showing that you are working hard, that you are making the money, that you are building out this lifestyle that people are wanting to see. That's what's going to build authority. When people see that you're doing the things and you've actually got there, they're going to see, 1, your journey to get there, and 2, they're going to see, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. This guy sells a lot of deals. He makes a lot of money. Okay, this guy is someone that I'm wanting to understand a little bit more. That could be coming through job offers. That could be coming through content. When you put up that content, you could get people start to follow you and maybe start talking to you going, hey, how can I do that same thing? That's how you do that. So what it also does, it creates inbound leads. So that's what I was just talking about there. People are going to start messaging you. People are going to be interested in you because you're not just some person that's just putting up a photo of you smiling, looking like a muppet. It's going to give you opportunities to grow your network. So these are key things and why content is so important in the modern day if you're wanting to build 100K and go surpass that. And networking is the best shortcut because communities, events, masterminds, they all accelerate your growth because you're going to be meeting these other high performance individuals. You're going to be understanding these mindsets that people are going through. You're going to learn different things from these people and what they're talking about. You're going to understand a whole new world if you can get out and you can network. Because when you start mixing in with those people that are closer to that top 1%, the ones that are really starting to make something in life, you're going to see a whole new perspective on the world, and that's really going to change the way that you actually develop yourself, and that is really critical. Half of the high-level opportunities come through people, not job boards. Now, that's one thing that I learned really early on was that my jobs weren't going to be coming through me applying on Indeed or Seek or any of these other job board ad places that you can go to. I found out that all of the jobs that I had, they came through LinkedIn. They came through LinkedIn connections. They came through talking with recruiters. They came through knowing people. I've had job offers where I've known someone for 10 minutes that I met them at a networking group, and then I got offered a job. Some of my friends have offered me jobs. I've been offered jobs with many different businesses based on the fact that people know who I am. And that's done a lot better for me than any job that I've ever applied for, because 100,000 people are going to apply for those jobs, and good luck getting it because you all look the same on paper. Now, when you're posting online, you want to position yourself as valuable. Now, posting yourself and putting yourself out there as valuable is showing that you are doing the right things. It's not just posting silly things, you're just out with your mates and just drinking beers and just looking like absolute menaces to society. Don't be a menace to society. Don't be posting that stuff, but put yourself out there. Maybe it's you dress sharply. Maybe it's you're out at a very important networking event. So take a photo while you're there at the networking event. Put yourself in positions and make sure that you're getting the photos and the videos to be able to put yourself in these positions. So when people see you, they see you as a high value person. So these days, your business card is more like Instagram. Instagram is more like your business card, because what people now do when they find out about you, the first thing that they go and do is they look you up on social media, and generally the first one and the easiest one to find you on is Instagram. If they can find you on Instagram, they're going to know exactly who you are, what you do, who you spend your time with, and they can figure you out just like that. So when you're doing this, make sure that Instagram is tailored towards showing you off as a high value person. And this is why I built a Telegram as well. So I've got a Telegram channel where I talk to my followers and we talk about all these different things. We go over masculine excellence, we're going over Instagram and how to build it out and develop it and change the way that you look. And then also a lot of the sales content that I do on there, I give a few extra tips with sales and things. I'll put a link down in the description for you to go and check that out, and would love to have you on. Come join us. Step 5. Stack and multiply. First 100K, master one skill. Next 100K, develop another skill. Okay, so when you combine one of the core skills with complementary skills, let's say it's sales and content, then you've got a coaching and personal brand. If it's copywriting plus strategy, you now own an agency, because when you mix sales and content, that's where people are going to start watching you and looking at you and going, okay, this person knows. What does he know that I don't know? And I want to pay this person because he wants to give me, I want him to give me all of the skills and the knowledge that he's got, so that way I can be him and I can do the same things as him. Copywriting and strategy. If you can copyright and then you can implement strategies, then businesses are going to be interested in paying you even more, because they're like, okay, well, this guy can write our copy and he can market. So he has got the strategy and the copywriting skills to be able to develop an agency. That's what you want to be looking for. So we're talking about stacking skills. Now, the next thing, start building leverage. You want to be consulting. You want to be proving that you've got leadership and team building skills. These are all things that are going to really stack and multiply that money. It's going to take you from 100K to 250K to 500K to $1 million plus. Once you start building these out, you can really start pushing into new limits. It's really amazing what you can do, but you need to be able to master one skill first, and you need to do it really well. When I say master, I mean you need to master it, and then you can move on to your next one. So now's the time to start. Like we said, the window is closing, so you don't overthink it. Don't get paralysis by analysis. So let's have a quick recap. You want to pick a high income skill. Sales is a great boat for that. You want to pick the right vehicle. That's what I just said. Number 3, build a routine and work ethic. Really make sure that you're grinding hard, putting in all of the effort, and then really building the routine to make your life as simple and easy as possible. So that way you can get to 100K quick, fast, and easy. You want to leverage content and networking, putting yourself out there, making sure people know who you are. So that way you get more job opportunities, you make more money, and you can build on it. Once you've done that, we need to stack skills. We need to start putting these things all together and building out more than just that one skill. We can start building businesses. We can start building empires and go from there. 100K isn't a fantasy. It's math, strategy, and work. It's simple. It's not that hard to get to. It's just something that most people get stuck on, again, because they get stuck up with paralysis by analysis. So look, subscribe for more. I'm not going to be going through any bull crap. I'm not going to be breaking it down in poor ways and trying to sell real hard on things. I'm going to be giving you some of the insights, some of the tips into how I do things and how I've built into what I've done. You can follow me over on Instagram to see my lifestyle. It's at Levi Waddy. That's a bit of my lifestyle. I've got a little bit of sales content on there. There's kind of a mixture of things. Join the free Telegram that we were talking about down there before, the Power Players Hub. This is going to give you a little bit more insights, me going a little bit deeper into what I talk about, going into masculine excellence, talking about fashion and style. We're going to be talking about sales and how to develop the skills, business, networking, and do a whole lot of other things where we can all come together and create that kind of brotherhood where we're all able to build each other up and build those business connections, build some personal connections, and really kind of drive out from there. Now, if you're already on this journey, whether it's from watching this video or whether you've already jumped in halfway, leave a comment down below on which step you're on right now. And in the meantime, I'll catch you on the next video.